Mummy Mojo, and in today's video I'm going to share with you 4 simple ways that you can support your immunity and your health this winter. So in other videos I've shared 10 of my favourite foods for boosting immunity, and I've shared other nutrition tips, but today's video will just focus in the kitchen but on some different methods and strategies you can take on to support your family's health. So number 1 would be to wash and scrub your veggies. Now we get our veggies and fruit from this wonderful locals farmers market, and you can see the bacteria, the microbiome and all of that dirt and worms on the actual veggies themselves. It's wonderful. You don't even want to wash it some of the time. You have to, but you don't want to because it's wonderful. You can see it's so fresh. But unfortunately, the produce from supermarkets, your conventional commercial produce, has been sprayed with a lot of contaminants. So, your fertilizers, your pesticides, your fungicides, all of those things. And they're going to, have some impact on your immune system and on your health. Now, you can't get rid of all of them by washing and scrubbing, but it is going to take off the stuff on the surface. But also, why it's so important during winter is that you're not sure who's been handling those. So who's been delivering them? Who put them on the shelves? Did they have a virus or cold? What kind of bacteria? So all of those other things to contend with. So it gets rid of all the viruses and bacteria too. So I do have another video if you want to check out the other videos. There is a video on scrubbing and washing veggies, but just a quick simple way to do it is to get some apple cider vinegar and some lemon and wash those veggies with that. You can get a veggie wash if you want. It's great to have a really good sort of veggie scrubber, and be a bit careful with the mushrooms and the softer fruits and veggies. And I advise to wash your leafies when you're using them, so your lettuces, your kales, your things like that, because they can get a little bit damp and not so nice to eat. But that's a really great step to take on just to protect yourself from some of the viruses and bacteria out there during the winter months. So my number 2 step would be to filter your water. And this to me is such an important step. In my detox program, it's my number 1. I just say if you do anything in these 30 days, please get a water filter. And you can get cheap water filters. I mean, I do recommend that you get a good quality one, but even if you just start with a cheap one, it will make a difference in your health over the long term. Now, unfortunately, tap water has a lot of contaminants. It has metals from the pipes, your mercury, your lead, and then there's fertilizers from soils and from the soils, and then you've got different pesticides and different bacteria and viruses as well. So you want to do what you can to get rid of those, so you're drinking pure sort of filtered quality water. So what we do in our house is we have a reverse osmosis system. So under the sink, and that strips out all those nasties by about 95-96%, which is wonderful. Then we've got another filter system, and that strips out the rest of it. But what I love about our other filter system, the Genzon, is that it actually puts in all these minerals and vitamins, and it's even got colloidal silver. So in winter, that's particularly beneficial because it helps prevent infections. It was made by Japanese scientists, and there's a lot that's gone into that water filter, and we love it. So I do recommend the Genzon, but there are plenty that you can get online or in shops. And it's definitely a step I would consider taking sooner rather than later for your family's health. So step number 3 is free, and it's intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting has been such a buzzword, hasn't it? It's been so popular over the last few years. But it's actually been something that Brad and myself, my husband and I, have been doing for about 7 years now. Now, my husband Brad does sort of 24 hours, sometimes even 2 days, but it'll only be once a month. Whereas I tend to do more of this regular, shorter term intermittent fasting. So I'll do a few days a week, and I won't eat for about 14 or 15 hours. And that's how I like to do it, and that's what works for me. But the 2 most popular ways are the 5-2 diet. So that is 5 days a week eating your normal calorie foods, and then 2 days a week having 500 calories each day. So that, for example, could include a miso soup and some fruit and then a small meal. something like that. Or you could eat little small snacks throughout the day as well. The other way to do it, which is very popular with all the celebrities at the moment, I know Reese Witherspoon does it, is the 16-8. So it's 8 hours of eating your meals for the day and then 16 hours of fasting. So usually and typically that is sort of finishing with an early dinner and then skipping breakfast and not eating till lunchtime. And I do a sort of modified version of that. But what fasting has been proven to do, it's been proven to enhance your T cells, your killer cells. And so it builds up your white blood army and it helps you fight infection. So it really does amp up the immune system. And there's a whole other list of benefits as well. It's great for the metabolism, good for brain health and mood, and good for sleep and other sort of factors. So it's really good for your overall health. I wouldn't suggest your kids necessarily do it. I think it's better to be 18 plus to do intermittent fasting, but you could certainly, get your kids to skip the occasional snack and just give themselves breaks, because if their digestive system is resting, then all the other processes and functions in the body, including your other organs like your liver, will be able to do their jobs well. And so that's my tip number 3. And so tip number 4 is meal prepping and planning. I know I got overexcited then, but I just love it. I really, really do. I love prepping and planning for my meals for the week. And the main reason I'm so passionate about it is it transformed the way my family ate. It meant that we were able to have more family meals together. It meant that we weren't skipping meals. It meant that we weren't doing so much delivery and takeaway and fried foods. And it also meant that we were eating healthier and eating more nutrient-dense foods, because I was able to plan for that. And I have a lot of my clients that say to me, I don't have time for that. Well, I ask them this question: what do you do for shopping? And the general answer is, well, I go on Sunday and I get the big shop, and then I go to another supermarket during the week to pick up the fish and the meat from the local butcher. And I'm like, so how long does all that take? An hour, 2 hours? Okay. Well, what if I could tell you that you could order your food online and do your planning and prepping in the same time? Would you be open to it then? And normally the answer is yes, especially once they've tried it and see how good it is. So we do most of our shopping online. We get them from the farmers markets online. When we can get down to the farmers markets, we absolutely do, because we love that process and we love, it's a fun morning out. But if you haven't got time to do that and the prepping is a priority. So the number one thing I would say to do is you write a meal plan, and you get that meal plan and you put it up on your fridge, and then everyone knows what's there for the week. You know what foods to get, and you know what you're going to be eating, and hopefully lots of healthy foods. Then you can go for your shop, and then you can do your prep. And you don't have to do it all in the same time. You can schedule it when it works for you and your busy life. But I even get the kids involved in the prepping. So say we want to get some lunch boxes ready. I'll do a lot of the chopping of the veggies, and then my daughter will put it into separate chemical-free containers to go in the fridge, and then they can go straight into their lunch boxes when we're ready. We make up batches of soup and have a lot of fun putting it in different containers for the fridge and the freezer, and putting it with some sourdough for that night for dinner. And during winter, it's very easy to make up those big crock pots and the casseroles and things for the week that you can then have when you need it. And if you put it straight into the freezer, it will keep it very fresh and ensure that you're getting all those nutrients. So that's just 4 simple ways for you to keep your immune system strong and to support your family's health this winter. So it's just washing and scrubbing your veggies, filtering your water, having a go at some intermittent fasting, and doing some meal prepping and planning. And you know what? If you can just take on one of those steps and give it a go, I think you'll notice some real great benefits with your family's health. And I do hope that you all stay healthy and well this winter.